This Sunday, November 27th at 3 p.m. at the Lutheran Church of the Cross, the Winnipeg Wind Ensemble will be putting on a concert that they are calling Many Moods. Formed in the fall of 1985 by band directors and other professional musicians dedicated to bringing wind band music of the highest quality to Winnipeg audiences, the Winnipeg Wind Ensemble is the premier wind ensemble in the province. The concert on Sunday will explore the many feelings and challenges we have had to deal with over the past 2.5 years. Joining me here over Zoom to talk about this Sunday's concert, I am joined by the Winnipeg Wind Ensemble's artistic director, Ginny Helmer. Hey, Ginny, it's nice to see you again.
Hi, Chris. Thank you so much for having me.
hmm I was reading the background information that you sent me about the concert, and it really does run the gamut of emotions. You got music inspired by drinking songs. There's a piece inspired by the Kennedy assassination. Can you talk about the name of the concert, Many Moods, and what you wanted to explore with this program?
Well, I have to admit that initially I was kind of stuck for a title. You look for music that you think will be interesting for the ensemble and interesting for the audience. And I knew that we would have our two saxophone soloists with us playing the Scherzo Furioso. So initially I thought, well, there you go. There's a word that really describes an emotion, and it kind of went from there. So I had a number of things on my mind that I wanted to do, and this idea of music as catharsis or as a way of sort of processing either emotions that you are aware of or that you're maybe not even aware of, or uh, being able to experience things through art that you wouldn't normally experience in your life sort of inspired me to choose the repertoire that's on this concert.
Yeah, and especially after the past 2.5 years with the pandemic and whatnot, right?
Exactly. I've tried to remind myself that there have been tough times before, and of course, all the music on this concert was written before the pandemic, and it still
Mhm.
expresses the full range of emotions. So,
hmm There's music on the program that I've never heard of as a band person. I'm thinking here in particular of the Whitaker piece. Where did you find this piece, and how did you go about finding some of these newer works that are on the program?
well, a lot of the things that because we still have a little bit of a supply issue, I can't just choose any music that's from anywhere on the planet. I have to make sure that it's available. So I use the lists of repertoire that are sort of in the city and in the country. So if I know that something's available at the Des Sautel Faculty of Music, or that Fort Richmond Collegiate owns it, or Vincent Massey Collegiate owns it, it's easier for us to sort of access that. So both those pieces, both the Noisy Wheels of Joy and the Leaves Are Falling, were both things that I saw on the Des Sautel list, and I was interested in the titles because of our theme, and so I listened to them and sort of fell in love with them.
That's great. One of the really exciting things about the concert is that you're going to be featuring two saxophonists, the Prairie Saxophone Initiative. Who are they, and what can you tell us about them?
Well, Matthew Robinson is a local saxophonist. He's actually a member of the band. He plays alto sax in the band. He's going to be playing tenor sax in this piece. He's a graduate of UBC with a master's degree, and I think he met Kinley probably in BC. Kinley Hinneke is from Saskatchewan. He lives in North Battleford and actually conducts his own band there. And the two of them have developed this duet that they toured this summer, and they're interested in doing more of that. So Matthew actually approached me with the idea of playing this piece, and Kinley was available, so it worked out very well.
Perfect. 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 And the name of the piece you touched on it earlier is Scherzo Furioso. What can you tell us about this piece?
Well, it's kind of a wild ride from beginning to end. It's all at the same tempo, but it changes time signatures and moods from time to time. It's full of what we would call advanced techniques on the saxophone. So there's slap tonguing and a lot of instructions to click keys, blow into the instrument while you're moving your fingers to create different sound effects. And at one point, they even have to try and sound like they're laughing into their saxophones.
It's going to be great. Well, with a name like Scherzo Furioso, I mean, high energy from beginning to end. Sounds about
Mhm.
right. One of the other interesting pieces on the program is you're going to be doing a band version of the Arturo Marquez Danzón number 2. Now, I know this piece for orchestra.
Mhm.
What's it like in the wind band arrangements? I can imagine that there's going to be some pretty tricky bits, right? From the transcription from orchestra over to band. Is that the case?
Well, certainly technically it's got some challenges in it, especially for the woodwinds because they're playing all the violin parts, so they're moving
Yes.
pretty fast. And it's a real journey of a piece. Like it starts out with a very sultry introduction and runs through all kinds of moods and emotions and demands a lot of our first trumpet player. There are a couple of very exposed solos there. There's a lot of piccolo, first clarinet that have a lot of soloistic moments and flute. So yes.
It's a great piece by that wonderful Mexican composer, Arturo Marquez. That's for
Mhm.
sure. Uh, One of the other pieces is The Leaves Are Falling. You touched on it earlier. It's the Warren Benson piece. It's inspired by the Kennedy assassination. Now, I know of the Low Presti Elegy for a Young American, but apparently there's another piece. Can you describe this piece and talk about it? And sort of just recap how you found it?
Sure. Well, again, it was something that I came across looking through other repertoire lists, but I was attracted by the title and interested in finding out more about it. And it's an important piece in the repertoire because Benson sort of had an idea in his head that he didn't want to write the typical 5 minute band piece where everything happened and was over and it kind of frenetically. So he wanted it to open up more slowly and have anticlimactic moments. Um, and yes, it wasn't actually inspired necessarily by the Kennedy assassination. He was commissioned to do it before then, but that was certainly, when you're in the process of writing a piece of music, I think an event like that really, strikes home. And then, of course, the other influence was the poem Herbst by Rilke that called Herbst is German for autumn. So that is
Um,
the leaves are falling. And it's a very slow and ponderous piece. The metronome marking is, I think, quarter note equals 30, and there's a very steady either chime or bells or triangle half note that goes all the way through the piece. It's full of interesting events, and it's certainly just pure emotion for the audience. I think to just sort of sit back and try to bathe in that sound.
Fantastic. Ginny, this has just been so much fun. I'm going to wrap up the conversation by asking how it feels to have a full Winnipeg Wind Ensemble season happening this year. There's no concert cancellations. People aren't out because they've got COVID. How does it feel to be somewhat back to normal?
Well, I'm optimistic and it feels great to be able to do a full season. I would say we still have some challenges with, everybody's been really great about staying home when they're sick. And so we're still struggling with, getting a full ensemble in the rehearsal room on any given rehearsal. But we've put it together. We're really happy to be sharing our music with our audience. And yeah, I'm looking forward to this concert and the next two.
Amazing. How much are tickets and where can people get them?
They're $5 for students. That's part of our mission to keep our cost for students very low, and $15 for adults, and they can be purchased at the door.
Jenny, all the best on Sunday. I'm sure the concert's going to be just fantastic. Thanks so much for taking the time to talk to me today. The Winnipeg Wind Ensemble's concert this Sunday sounds like it's going to be phenomenal.
Thanks, Chris. It was great to talk to you too.